Okay, lovelies, are we ready for take two? Because I think we're ready for take two. Let's do this. No long intros, nothing fancy. Let us just jump right in to the magic. Okay, let's get them started. Let's see. Let us begin. The hilarious part is Tina has a UPS anyways. It appears to not be working, which is unfortunate. And really all you can do. But that is fine. We're here. I will take a moment to sync these guys up, but at least I won't have to crap again. Never mind, I don't need to sync. They literally started completely in sync because these guys are just that good. So, starting again from the beginning, there is a lot that you need to do in this game right from the get-go. You need to put your battle speed to 6, message speed to 1, and you need to make sure that your cursor is on memory. All of this really is a lot of important speed tech. What's really important with all of these battles, though, is you want both Vix and Wedge to run away from each of these battles. I took your music, yeah, but you've got the game music now. You want that. Okay, so we want them to run away, so question mark can get as much experience as possible. There's a lot of really kind of strict experience routing that we're going to be doing for the first chunk of the game. So for the first, say, 30-ish minutes of the game. So we definitely want that to happen. Now, there are a few things which come into effect when you are trying to make characters run away. The first is your ATB bar, which you can see on the screen, needs to be full. Secondly, there is a hidden runaway gauge which each individual character has, which needs to be full, which is filled up by running. You also, to get specific characters to run, you make sure you run during animations, such as while Bioblast was going on, to make sure that that gauge fills out without unnecessary people running away. Also, as you saw in that pincer attack, you cannot run away in a pincer unless one of the sides is not there, which is defeated. And there are certain enemies which just have a can't run flag on, which both the Vomammoths in this battle and the Lobos in the previous battle fall under. So they do need to kill those before they are able to continue and run away. So, and if everything is done correctly, Vix and Wedge will always run away, and Terra will stay and reap the benefits of the experience. We do want to make sure that she gets all of that experience. Now, both of these runners are on step route, and with them being on step route, it will ensure that they are able to they'll know exactly what each of their battles are and where they'll find them, which helps a lot with the experience routing, such as they know that in this cave they are not going to get any encounters, and they are just going to walk straight to the boss. Same with after the boss, they will get no encounters. So the goal overall is to get Terra to level 6, which will definitely help them. I'm also trying to find a way to share this playlist with you guys conveniently. So, Welk fight. This, even though it is a beginning fight, it is really quite technical, and there is a lot that can go wrong. The key here is we are trying to kill Welk before it goes into its shell. We're trying to get what's called the quick kill. And the best way to do that is with a trick called wait tricking or counter cancel, where we sit in the menu while an action is occurring, and while the menu is open, ATB for all of our characters, including the boss, pauses. So while the animations are playing out, ATB would usually increase, but we make sure it doesn't. So we want to hit Welk with 3 tech missiles overall, and in between the second and the third one, we want to purposely attack the shell with a fire beam in order to trigger a counterattack, which will give Terra's ATB enough time to fill up again so she can do the third attack before Welk goes into the shell. So, in a big counterpoint to the last battle, both racers got the quick kill this time, while last battle, neither of them got it. So, really good for both Tina and Takaze, really especially good for Takaze, who had a really kind of disastrous Welk fight last time. Yeah, it doesn't always work out like that, Null, though. But thankfully it did work out this way. So let me. We had to start over because there were technical difficulties which occurred on Tina's side, which did cause her to reset or forcibly reset, and she lost all of her progress. Takaze agreed to a restart, which I will note he did not have to agree to. He could have accepted the win. Not only did neither get the quick kill last time, poor Takaze got a plus 2 minutes on Welk because his Terra got killed in the counterattack afterwards, and he had like a 4-turn Welk. It was really terrible. So, so they have both made it through this time, though, and so we have made it to kind of our first set of cutscenes. Where there is going to be a lot of mashing occurring, which is important. One of the things about Final Fantasy VI is the only way to mash through the text is with A. So you have to just mash as far as possible to as fast as possible in order to get through all the text. We do rename the characters to a single character, as all of the text in the game is scrolling. So the shorter the names, the more time is saved. And Takaze was not in the lead, actually. Takaze was behind. He was losing. But he would have received a free win by not accepting that. But Takaze is a really classy person and accepted the restart, even though, again, we were 50 minutes into the first race. So, yeah, absolutely. Tina was literally right in front of... She was 30 seconds away from a save point, which was what made it even worse. Okay, so they are making their way to the cave. And that's where they are going to be grinding for experience, because unfortunately, unlike in other Final Fantasies, you get no experience from boss battles in this game. So you do have to reset, or you do need to fight battles in order to ensure that... One sec, I'm typing something. In order to make sure you get the experience you need. And again, as mentioned earlier, the experience routing is really quite strict. So we want to make sure you get all of the experience needed. So here specifically, we are aiming in order to get Terra to level 6. She will, that happens because she learns Ant Dot. So as they're both in step route, they will kill all of the enemies, and then we'll grind out one extra encounter right before their cutscene, and that will bring them up to level 6. For anyone who asked, I just post the YouTube playlist that I created for this. It's got some cool tunes. It's not going to have everything you guys are looking for, but if you liked some of the tunes you heard, they are on there. And speaking of cool links, make sure to follow our runners. They are both really cool people, and working especially hard this evening to give us an excellent race and a really good time. So I have linked them into the chat. So poor Tina getting a back attack here. Not the greatest, but it is a bit of a time loss, but could be worse. So only a little bit behind Takaze at this point. So now that they're done with that grinding, they got their Ant Dots, so it is time for them to get their cutscenes. Yet another cutscene. So as I was mentioning earlier, when you're outside of battle, you can only mash through cutscenes and advanced text with the A button. You can't use other buttons. You can't hold A. You do have to constantly press the button as fast as possible. However, any cutscenes that you get inside of battle, such as when you do finally get Gao, you can just press and hold A in those battles, which is excellent. So we are first introduced to Kefka, at least in a flashback form, not in his true real-life self, with these wonderful, like, Game Boy colors. So we get the poor sad story of Terra and how she was recruited to be I wouldn't say recruited, but how she is being controlled by the Empire to be their weapon. Had no control of her own, being controlled by the slave crown, and has really had not such a great time of it all. So she's only had the slave crown off for a very short amount of time, and now she's there. So how precise does the step count need to be? So, in most areas it needs to be quite precise. However, in most places, only when you're in an area with an encounter that you can get encounters do you have to worry about that. So, they want to just make sure to take the shortest route in most places. It's the world map where it's the most precise, and a couple of places else. And the reason it's so precise on the world map, and we'll talk about it a bit more once we get there, is there are certain tiles which are no encounter tiles, and they want to take a very specific route in order to hit as many of those as possible. So not only will they not get an encounter on those tiles, but their encounter counter, as it were, will not increase for every one of those tiles they hit. So that is very important that they do it. Even if you're not step routing at all, it does really help to hit those tiles, as you're guaranteed not to get encounters there. And speaking of step routing, it is really recommended to set up your seed, which is relatively easy, even if you're not going to be doing a step route, because it will set you up for the river manipulation later, which we were just barely getting to see before the reset, is extraordinarily helpful. But for right now, we are doing our big battle, which is a concept which, again, I'm pretty sure has not been reintroduced in future Final Fantasies, where we're supposed to take 3 parties, block off key points, fight all the enemies, and then go fight the boss. But we don't have time for that. It takes way too long. What we can do, though, is these enemies, while they're in a moving animation, so while their legs are out, you can just walk right past them without triggering an encounter. Yeah, you're gonna hear deja vu. I do mostly the same commentary. Enjoy. So ideally, they will skip all of these encounters and then just take their one person all the way down to the boss. So I'm just going to swap music here quick so we get the boss music. Yeah, boss music. So again, in this martial fight, you do want to start off running, just in case the marshal does use his net attack, as that will ensure that even if Mog is targeted with the net, which is a stop command, you will be able to unequip the mithril pike and the mithril shield from him, or just the mithril pike if that's all you get, and will still be able to kill the marshal. So Cuckoo being dead on Takaze's side, yeah, it's a little slower, but not really that terrible. Let's see how Tina goes. I'm going to keep swapping those names, because for those who don't know, Terra's name in the Japanese version is Tina. So you can understand my confusion. So yeah, Tina got through, no problem there. I want to note she finished that split at 1, 2, 3, 4, which is, you know, number happiness. Oh, she did save a bit of time there, as she didn't have a dead character, and every little bit helps. So even though you're seeing Takaze in the lead, there are plenty of opportunities yet for both of these runners to either lose time or gain time. And as you see right now, anyways, they are incredibly close to each other. So yes, they are not far apart at all, but between battle RNG as back attacks, pincers, side attacks, preemptives, all of that is random. We don't know that, we aren't able to manipulate that real time currently. I think they can manipulate it with TAS, which is tool assisted speedrun. However not. So, you're going to see Takaze here is going on a very specific path. Again, he is aiming to get as many of those no encounter tiles as possible, and will be running from the others. Yes, and like Null explained, Tina is an exotic name, but in Japan, but here, Tina's a normal name. As you see, Tina's Tinahacks, I'm pretty sure she's not named after Terra there. I think that's just a name she picked. So, it's a fairly normal name here, but Terra's exotic for us, so that's why it got changed. It's the same Saban's name in Japanese was Mash, which was short for something like Mashius, something more regal sounding. But I think the translating team decided Mash sounded a little silly over here rather than potentially regal, and just renamed him to Sabin. So they have both made it to the castle of Figaro as instructed by the old man, otherwise known as Arvis. So the goal here is they are trying to take Terra to safety as the Empire is chasing her. And as a side bonus, they're trying to get her to join their cause while basically everyone else is trying to be like, no, you've got a choice. We're not going to convince you. There's a certain other character later, Panin, who doesn't play into this game and says, no, we need you right now. We cannot win without you. Join us. So, yeah, needless to say, Terra gets a lot thrown at her constantly. So again, we are renaming our characters in order to go to one character. And interestingly enough, the first chunk of characters which we get and rename all have 5 characters in their names: Terra, Locke, Edgar, Sabin. So we know we're only going to need to press the B button 4 times and then press start. So that certainly makes it easy and just you can memorize that a lot easier. I think Cyan is the first character. Well, Shadow, even though has a longer name, we don't even bother to rename Shadow as he has only 3 text boxes, and I think it might actually take more time to rename him than it does to just deal with those 3 text boxes with him having his full name. Cyan has 4, so it's after Sabin's rename that you start getting different lengths. So, those knights on the chocobos will always move the same way, but they're a bit annoying. If you don't manipulate it with just the right timing, they will get in your way, and it's extraordinarily frustrating. They are my mortal nemesis as someone who does not walk very well in these games. So we're now being introduced to Edgar's twin younger brother, Sabin, who is the muscles of this family. We have the smart twin and the brawny twin. Sabin really likes to demonstrate later on in the run why he's the muscle and not the brain. He's definitely great. I love Sabin personally, but he just goes through a string of bad ideas, which only his incredible luck sees him through alive. Chocobos are adorable, but things which usually you'd care about in regular games become a lot more frustrating in speed games, like the Chancellor getting in your way. Because, yeah, you just don't know where he's going to go, so trying to dodge him is not fun. And he very often does stay out of the way, so those few runs where he gets in your way, you're like, Chancellor, please. I thought we were friends. Yep, staying out of Tina's way. He knows. He knows. So this is the first time we see Kefka in the actual full game, with his iconic laugh. I gave you silence to enjoy that, because who doesn't love Kefka's laugh? So he is here because, of course, the Empire is looking for their lost soldier, and he is really not a nice guy. So, as explained earlier, the hope is to get the 2 soldiers staring at each other, which Takaze got. That is a frame-perfect trick, so it does save a little bit of time to do that, a few frames, and it looks so cool. So it's something that's fun to do if you're bored. Let's see if Tina got it this time too. Guys, that is so fabulous. So you see how close both of these runners are. Even though, again, Takaze is in the lead, but it's so small, the lead at this point. Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. So again, we're going to play the Locke, you walk too slow, why did you teleport game. So you can beat Locke in this walk, but only if you have sprint shoes. And from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the only way to get a pair of sprint shoes is there's a pair, I think, glitched like in a wall in Narshe. So I'm not even sure if it's possible to get those. So otherwise, you just have to accept that Locke is better than you at walking and is going to beat you every time. Sadness. So again, trying to explain what you're doing, at least Locke gives her some information. And thank you so much for the 100-bit donation, Adelace. We definitely at RPG Limit Break appreciate every donation. And appreciate you enjoy my commentary. Speaking of which, give our runners a follow. They are working very hard. And they have already done 50 minutes worth of run before this. So keep it up. They are working so hard. And look at this race. It's so fabulous. So make sure to give those guys a follow. So of course, Kefka did not believe Edgar whatsoever when he was like, nope, no girls here, hee hee hee, and light your castle on fire, like a total jerk. How is a stone castle on fire? Don't worry about. We don't ask these tough questions. And obviously, Edgar is not very worried either because he just jumped off the wall onto some chocobos. Because, you know, he's a cool dude like that. I would be terrified to jump off something onto a moving anything, let alone a moving chocobo, but that just goes to show how cool all of our characters are. Yeah. So, turns out, Edgar's a really good engineer, so good that he has designed his castle to be able to submerge into the sand. And you know what's really good at putting out fire? Sand. So yeah, no, the real MVP is Figaro Castle. Look at it. It goes underneath the sand. How cool is that? So Kefka remains completely displeased. Also, for the very first time, I just noticed that Kefka and the Chancellor are wearing the same colors. They're in cahoots, guys. Cahoots! Okay, so, Magitech armor. Often, you would use magic in this fight. And the reasoning for that is because you get a cool cutscene and it's magic. Why wouldn't you use it, right? Well, it also takes a huge amount of time because there's a 40-second really awesome cutscene, which happens when you use magic in between this cutscene until you reach South Figaro. So, instead, you are going to use the auto crossbow, which Edgar comes with twice, and kill them straight off. You are going to attempt to steal from them as well, because if you can get free items, right? So yeah, there is no magic cutscene for any of us, but they did win the battle. Quite easily, in fact. Look at them. We've got double chocobos happening here. This is almost perfectly beautiful sync. I love it. So Kefka, somewhat understandably, is really displeased that you have escaped and broken his toys. Calls you very not nice names, just too nasty for me to stay on stream. I couldn't. I'm just too disturbed by his language, which is extraordinarily tame. What were the translators thinking? Anyways, so again, they accidentally imply that Terra might not be fully human, and she's like, that was kind of mean. And they apologize and explain why they may have said that and progress. Oh my god, that sad VV emote is adorable and so sad. So, next step is they are heading for South Figaro, and really truly they're heading to the Returners' hideout, but that South Figaro is one step on the way to that. So they have to go through this cave, which, as mentioned earlier, boss battles in this game do not give experience. So in order to do the experience routing we need to do, we may need to make sure to fight certain encounters on the way. So Tina is a little off her step route. She did get that encounter early. She was supposed to get that where Takaze got it. However, it's still a good encounter. So the idea here is to fight everything, or everything but the double Hornet encounter, and you can do that. Auto crossbow will one-shot kill everything in here most of the time. The only exception to that rule are the Bleeries, and the Bleeries they're just like 1 or 2 HP off, so you always make sure Edgar attacks first, and then just set your other 2 people up to attack. So if on the off chance Edgar does not do enough damage, if he does only 118, they will not die. Then they will very quickly die thereafter, so that is fantastic. So, Yeah, exactly what happened. That is the second time in a row to these racers I have commentator cursed that 118. Again, if I'm gonna commentator curse anything though, I'd rather it be that. So, world map walking is difficult, but this particular sequence is really annoying, and you can see why. It is my personal least enjoyed world map walking, just because of the like wacky shapes and precise spots you need to move. Making sure to go into the relic shop and picking up 3 pairs of sprint shoes, equipping 1 pair on Terra, and putting everyone in the back row. The reason for this is everything we fight in the next series of battles is either going to be fought with an auto crossbow, which is the same from the back row, magic, which is the same from the back row, or a finishing hit from Locke, which does not need more damage than what he will be doing from the back row. So, and everyone takes way less damage. So that is a really huge thing. So the general strategy here is to where the most time. I will answer your question in a moment here, Super Red Jack. What they're looking to do here is they want to run away from all of the brawlers and the mammoths, which are basically everything inside, and they will be fighting everything outside in order to get Edgar, Locke, and Terra up to levels 10, 9, and 8 sequentially. So that will give them the average player levels in order for Sabin to join at level 11, which we want for stat reasons. Going back into this hidden room in order to get the Atlas armlet, which will increase Edgar's damage, both for his auto crossbow and for his regular attack, which will be relevant later. So, places you can lose most time in this speedrun: bosses. Bosses are brutal, and if you're off step route, the wrong back attack or pincer attack especially can lose you quite a bit of time. And some of these bosses are really particular, so if things don't go quite right, you can lose a lot of time. So this battle that Takaze is in and that Tina will probably be in shortly is the one where we want just Locke to run away. So he got that, no problem. Let's see if Tina gets it. This is set up by making sure we skip Locke's turn and get Edgar and then Terra both to attack. And during the animations, they're having everyone run, which builds up the hidden run gauge, and you can only successfully run away if your ATB gauge is also full, which Locke's was because he was never issued an action. So he was able to successfully run away for both of the runners. The reason they want him specifically to run away is he has a little bit more experience than the other party members, so it just makes it a little more even and will allow us to get the levels we want about 2 battles before the boss of this place. So it works just a little bit faster to do it that way, because all characters share experience in battle. So with him gone, it meant both Edgar and Terra got more experience. The packs we want ideally are these 4 packs, as between the auto crossbow and fire with Terra, we can just kill them quite easily. Though these Trillium packs, when you're on the spiral down towards the boss, you will get 4 of these Trillium 2 packs. And if you're on step route and made Locke run away and getting the encounters you should, you will only need to fight 2 of those 4. So say if you get a preemptive on one of those Trillium packs, you can run away and you will save some time that way. You always want to fight the 4 packs though, because they have a great amount of experience. Seeing Takaze make sure to equip that Mithril Pike we stole from Mog earlier onto Edgar, and then the Mithril Blade that we took from Edgar equipped on Locke. So that means both of them get damage boost, which the Mithril Pike doesn't matter so much for Edgar right now, but the Mithril Blade matters for Locke now, and the Mithril Blade, or the Mithril Pike, sorry, will matter for the next place for Edgar. So best place to do it now, again, because it's the best way to remove the Mithril Blade. So both of them doing their walk down. So we're seeing on Takaze's screen, these Trilliums have an ability called Bane Touch, and it inflicts poison, which is really not good, especially while you're walking down the mountain. as you lose an extraordinary amount of damage, like health, while you are walking. He also did a cure while he was there because he is now at the levels he wants to be, and so since he is at those levels, he can run away from his last 2 battles. So yeah, Takaze and Tina are really quite close. He just ran away from the battle Tina just got, I believe. So last encounter right in front of our boss Vargas. So we immediately just jump right in. The main things you want to make sure before starting this battle is that everyone has at least 100 HP and that Terra has at least 20 MP. Otherwise, you just go. You don't need to wait. You want to get into this boss fight. Wow, they are both going to be there with the Ipoos alive at the same time. So, strategy for this fight. You want to use your auto crossbow with Edgar and fire with Terra first. The order between them doesn't matter, but specifically you want Locke's turn to be last of the 3. You want that because his action is going to be to row, and that gives you more of an opportunity to kill the Ipoos before they have a chance to attack and do damage, especially with Locke in the front row, as he will take more damage. But we do want him in the front row because he will do more damage, which again is really important, especially with his Mithril Blade. So, the key here is you can't actually attack Vargas until the bears are dead, sadly. So you kill the bears, and then you attack Vargas until you get him to his HP gate, which will trigger a cutscene. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they'll just be able to hold A and wait for that cutscene to just tick down and go past. It will go at its fastest speed. So everyone's favorite Sabin just showed up. He is about to show us what he can do with them muscles. I always question why this is called a mortal technique, because it kills literally nobody. Mortal attack. Our guys are just too good. Vargas, just not as impressive. He may run around without a shirt on, not that impressive. So, the way to end this battle is specifically by using Pummel on Vargas. It is the trigger. It looks like Tina did get a Doomfist skip, which is something you want to save time if possible. Or, if you're going to get Doomfist, you want to have it happen immediately. So, Takaze did have to wait a little bit because Vargas didn't do the Doomfist right away. So yeah, our runners are almost completely in sync. Look at them. Ugh, I love races like this that are super close. Yeah, honestly, I think both Tina and Takaze are amazing people, so I'm rooting for both of them. And Ultros because I'm a monster. But I'm rooting for both of them. That's allowed. And then just celebrate whoever wins and congratulate both for being such fabulous runners. Yeah. Yeah, Dataluma, he's just magical. Vargas, of course, Vargas skipped leg day. He had to give something for Dataluma to have, and he's got those muscles. He did not skip arm day. Let us be real. So So it looks like Tina is off step route. Well, we knew she was off step route, but because of that, she did get an encounter before she was off the mountain. So they're not quite as synced anymore. Not as brutal, because they are about to do a manipulation which will ensure, which changes what seed they're on. And so they're going to both be back at the beginning of their step route anyways. So the estimated time on this particular category is 1 hour and 30 minutes. And both of these runners have personal bests which are below that. So approximately 1 hour and 30 minutes should be about. So we've got about 1 hour left of the run. And speaking of Ultros, we're going to just preload him a little bit. There'll be some more later, don't worry guys. Oh, things going good for Takaze. Let's see. Okay, things are great for Tina. So that returner, which wanders around on the right there for both of them, we do a couple of things during the run to manipulate him, but there is a chance where he can literally get in your way. What happens is you're being led automatically without player control by that returner gentleman, and if he gets blocked, by that guy, or if he gets in your way, because he can just walk right in. Just as the returner that's guiding you is heading towards the door, but you're still on autopilot, he can walk right in front of you, so you can't move out of the way because you're an autopilot. But he's not moving because you've blocked him in. So, you literally soft lock. So, yeah. It is sadness and tears when that happens, so you will see some runners saving right outside of the returner's hideout. However, the goal here is to talk to Locke, Edgar, and Sabin to progress the plot, and to pick up some of the chests which are along here. So in the room where you wake up, there is a Phoenix down in that chest, which is important. And also going to be going into the treasure room up top, and they will be picking up Phoenix Down, Air Lancet, True Knight, Antidote, and if they're feeling particularly fancy, they might also pick up the Tincture. So Takaze and maybe Tina, we'll see, are doing the 7-second, the 7-frame save, which is talk to Bannon once and say no, but before you've gone into the treasure room, go to the treasure room, talk to the soldier there. He gives you the Genji glove right away. You loot the treasure, which you were going to do anyways. And then you leave and go say no to Bannon 2 more times. You do want to say, yes, the soft lock has happened as people in this tournament. I'm not sure if I was commentating or watching, but I watched it happen once, and it was the worst thing literally ever. Yes, I could name names, but let's just suffice it to say it has happened. So yes, we make sure to say no to Bannon 3 times, which not only skips a cutscene, which is important, but allows us to get the Genji glove over the gauntlet. So both the gauntlet and the Genji glove are broken. They are items which do not work the way they are designed. However, the bonus is that while the gauntlet is glitched in a way which is not to your benefit, the Genji glove is broken in your benefit. The penalty that it's supposed to have doesn't actually work at all. So, yeah, we really want the Genji glove. That is the overpowered item that we use and get rid of the auto crossbow. So, what the next step is to put the sprint shoes on Sabin, Genji glove on Edgar, put both Sabin and Bannon in the back row, save, and then reset. Once they hit the save screen again, they will reset for a second time. And then I'll explain as it happens. But this is the setup to manipulate the river. So let's just give it a watch here. Takaze is going to load it up here. So once you load up the game, you walk to the end of the room, and we're watching that NPC. Once he steps onto that carpet and just gets a pixel above it, you want to leave the room, and by doing that you have manipulated the river. So there are 9 possible encounters on this river. The first 2 are mandatory. No matter what you do, you are going to fight the first 2 encounters, but the rest of them are not mandatory, and by doing this particular manipulation, we will only get the 2 mandatory encounters. The first one we will run away from. The second one, we are going to fight, but only with Edgar. We're going to make everybody else run away. So the reasoning, or Takaze is just going to make everyone run away. One of the strategies for this is if you leave just Edgar there to fight those 2 pterodons, then he will also get level 11, which will give him extra bonus to his attack, which is kind of one of the goals in this run. We're pretty consistently trying to get extra damage for Edgar and extra defense for Sabin. And so, but it is not critical to get that extra bit of attack for Edgar, but it does give you a little bit of an edge for both Ultros and Kefka, which are basically the only 2 fights left where you are even going to use Edgar. So getting to the second save point, putting Edgar in the front row. All the rest of the characters will be doing moves where we want them in the back row, or we're going to manipulate them. And Edgar, though, now that we've got the Genji glove and the Atlas armlet on him, we want him to be physically attacking, because he has, as soon as Locke leaves you, he abandons all of his gear. So you have a mithril blade and a mithril pike on Edgar. So Ultros, my absolute favorite. He is, if not the worst, one of the worst bosses in this run. The reasoning for that is it is really important to get his quick kill. He can be one of the easiest bosses of the game if you know how to do his quick kill and don't mess up the timings. Unlike a lot of the other bosses, which have variable ATB and moves when it starts, this fight will always start with the same ATB and the same action. So as long as you always do the same things with the same timings, you will always get the quick kill on Ultros. However, the less precise you are and the further away you are from that quick kill, the more Ultros murders you. Because in case you weren't aware, Bannon has 120 HP and the wonderful mechanic of if he dies, it's game over. So the strategy on this quick kill, if you've gotten the delicious morsel, you technically have not gotten the quick kill, but at the point where Takaze is, he is far enough that he will still kill Ultros without anyone else dying. He definitely did lose some time. But look, he got it. Everything's good. Let's see what happens on Tina's screen, while Sabin makes the first of many bad decisions. So again, the strategy with Ultros is you want to wait trick on Edgar and Sabin's turns. You want on very precise times. You want to attack with Edgar or bolt with Sabin. Fire with the first attack and regular fight with the other attacks with Terra, and row the first time with Bannon and regular attack the rest. So it really is Edgar and Sabin and Terra's first fire which are doing the majority of the battle. However, yeah, so neither of them did get the quick kill because you can defeat that without getting the delicious morsel, but they got the next best thing to the quick kill. Nobody's dead. Let's put it that way. Again, the longer that goes on, the more counterattacks you start getting from Ultros. So they both got through. That is beautiful. That is what you want. So we are on to the 3 scenarios, and there is a specific order to do those, and that is Sabin's scenario first. We do his scenario first because we want the smoke bombs at the very end. The other 2 scenarios we can do in either order. There's arguments for either way, and there might be a particular order for other runs. However, yeah, you won't see that. Yeah, it's not so bad here. So, desperation attacks as we're being requested. There's a 1 in 16 chance if a character goes into critical status and is there for a certain amount of time, that a character will do what's called a desperation attack. And each character has a unique desperation attack, and they are really quite rare. One of the strategies for fighting Ultros used to involve purposely trying to get the desperation attack, which again is a 1 in 16 chance, so not really good bets there, so we have better strategies now. We have seen, not only have we seen desperation attacks in this tournament, I once saw a 4-way race where 2 people got the desperation attack on Ultros. It was so beautiful, I cannot even. So, Sabin's scenario. They are purposely manipulating how they're walking in order to make sure they get 2 of these beaker fights. Any fight that you get anywhere has the potential to show up again on the world map. Or not the world map, on the Veldt. And you know what we don't want? A lot of these random encounters. So, yeah, we want to dodge that as much as humanly possible. So yeah, we purposely manipulate for those little beakers because they're easy to kill and easy to run away from. And a lot of the step routing for the rest of Sabin's scenario is specifically to manipulate what encounters we're going to get on the Veldt. It is particularly important on the Phantom Train, and we'll talk about that once we get there. But right now, we're in Camp Cutscene, where you get to mash lots of text to do something important for all of 30 seconds and go back and mash more text. Yeah, desperation attacks are quite rare, and that's why it was so special when I saw it. I think I was commentating the run where, again, it was a double header, and I saw two of them right in a row. It was, you can hear my excitement. It was so great. So, Cyan, otherwise known as C. The two really important things we're doing here is we're making sure to change his battle speed back to 1, which means the enemies will move faster, and giving him the sprint shoes. Which is less important right here now, but it does save some frames as we go, so definitely you want to, it's better than not for sure. The reason we wanted the enemy to go faster here is because we wanted to use Retort, one of Sabin's sword techs, but it is a counter, so to more effectively use the counter, we need the battle speed to be as fast as possible. So we're gonna move a little bit more, and ho hey, guess what? Cutscenes. Don't you love cutscenes? I love cutscenes. So we're going to have a lot of that, both of them getting through the leader. I do want to note on this leader fight with Cyan, if you accidentally do dispatch, you can die in this battle. I have myself died to that leader, so take the time, make sure you don't press A too fast and get retort. So, progressing on Camp Cutscene, they did not bother to change their battle speed back right away because we have 2 plot battles with Kefka coming up, and those battles, in those battles, Kefka he has a player sprite just like us, and he's actually considered a player character. So, because of that, the battle speed doesn't affect player characters, so there's no point in switching it back until the next battle where it's relevant. However, you do not lose time by switching it early, because better to do it early and not forget. You certainly don't want to be the person who has a run going with battle speed 1. Ain't no one got time for that. Yeah, that's one thing I do love about this particular speedrun is even though the text is scrolling, you can read quite a lot of it. I know I also speedrun Final Fantasy IV, and you just can't read a thing, or very little. And guys, does Kefka look like a waiter? I think he does. Tell me where would he work? Where would he be a waiter if Kefka were to wait somewhere? But for now, we're chasing him because we're like, you just talked about poisoning these poor people, and that's awful. Who would do that? Oh my god, the Big Top. That would be a great place for him to be a waiter. Winning answer, right there. Kool-Aid Factory, yeah, also not so great. So, after those 2 Kefka battles, though, that is the last chance you want to do all this menuing. So, change the battle speed back to 6 so the enemies are slower. Removed all of Shadow's equipment and gave him just his weapon because he doesn't need it. And instead, we then optimize Sabin because we want him to have more defense. So not only will he get the Mithril Shield that we took from Mog all those ages ago, but he also gets the ninja gear from Shadow. So that is definitely great. In this first battle, we just regular attack the guys in the front as they're one-hit kills. We use the air lancet we got from the Returner's hideout to kill one of the guys in the back, and ideally we use Pummel to take the other one out. The Aura Bolt still works, they both do enough damage, however, Aura Bolt is slower animation-wise, so to save time you do want to do Pummel. Oh, yeah, good point. We don't want him to be a server anywhere. Yeah, that's why he doesn't look like a waiter. We do not want him to be a waiter. So, Kefka, he really, really likes the purple drink, and he wants to share with everyone, but especially the people of Doma. Even though, oh my goodness, on Tina's screen, I gotta watch this replay. So, not only did Sabin almost die, not Sabin, sorry, Shadow almost die, it looks like she got at least one counterattack from Interceptor, which in my opinion, Interceptor is more useful than Shadow. Just putting that out there. So that was really fabulous for Tina. I have had 2 attacks from Interceptor kill the guys in the back. It'll never happen again. It was too amazing. But so Kefka just didn't like... He really just didn't want to play fair, and so he poisoned everyone. He didn't care if his own soldiers were killed in the process, as long as Doma went down. So, not a very nice guy at all. So Cyan, one of the two people who is okay, races to make sure his king is okay, and sadly, King's not okay, but King is just well enough before dying to tell Cyan, you got a family, you might want to check on them. So Cyan's like, oh, will do, boss. Not that he wasn't going to do it anyways, let's be real, but, yeah, he's definitely going to check now. So, it's this series of walking, which is why we want to make sure that Cyan does have the sprint shoes, because it does save just enough time, a few seconds, in fact, making sure he has the sprint shoes for this sequence, where there are two separate sections where we do have to walk him around. So, unfortunately for Cyan, he did not get to his family in time, and they were also killed. His wife and his son. So, there is not enough sadness and anger in the world for how poor Cyan is feeling right now. So he runs back into the Imperial camp in an absolute rage. And so your idea to sneak really is not going to work anymore. The tension has gone. So instead, you decide to choose the noble path and join this poor soldier. So the first two fights, you just want a physical attack. You can one-shot kill everyone here. Cyan for all three of these battles, however, is on automatic. So Cyan does what Cyan wants, but we want him to just attack at all times. Dispatch is slow and just does not do enough damage, and it is the other thing he can do. Though he does have a potential to counterattack as if he were wearing a black belt during these sequences. So far, we've just gotten physical attacks. We'll see. Good. Takaze is having great Cyan luck. Tina is doing the safe thing here, and what you should do in this situation. If Shadow is below, or if either of your characters are below 70 in the sequence, cure them. Definitely cure them. So, the last fight here, you want to attack with Shadow and then see what Cyan does and judge it on that. So he attacked the back cadet, leaving Sabin to kill the other grunt in front. And so you can either then throw something with Shadow or Aurabolt, like do a blitz after depending, but you can very quickly do enough damage to kill the guy in the back. So it is worth it to wait for those couple of seconds. That was a truly terrible, terrible joke. And even though it's in poor taste, it was kind of incredible. So, the next strategy plan is, this is one of Sabin's only good plans in this scenario, and that is to steal some Magitech armor, because they really just gotta get out of dodge at this point. So, best way to do that is to steal some of these really powerful war machines and just go. Go, 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 go. So, there are 3 battles you have to fight while in these Magitech armor, so you're really not in any danger of dying, but this is an excellent time to arrange your inventory, because you have time where you are just literally sitting there. And however, this second battle, we are fighting, or will be fighting, 3 enemies. We're going to have a Magitech armor and 2 soldiers. And I want it noted that we have 3 different elemental beams. Can you see where I'm going with this? So this is referred to as doing a rainbow beam, getting 1 of each element. And it just looks cool. It's total swag. There really is no purpose, but it looks so cool. Again, Takaze rearranging his inventory during some animations. Anything to make things a bit quicker. So again, Tina not far behind whatsoever. Last battle here for Takaze, which is only going to be 2 Magitech armors. So while what enemies you're fighting in these encounters is set, it is completely random what type of encounter it is, whether it's back attack, pincer, and such. So you do still want to get a good type of encounter. So 3 battles fought, they are going to leave. So apparently the best way to go is through the forest to the south. So away they go. Tina also making sure to do her rainbow beam. She knows. She understands. Backguard. I don't know when Backguard becomes available because it is not actually used in this run. By the time it might even become relevant, we have smoke bombs, so we really don't worry too much about back attacks because we can just run away. So step routing is particularly important during this sequence, not only through the forest here, but on the upcoming train, because there is the potential for some extraordinarily nasty encounters, either because we don't want to encounter them on the Veldt because they waste time, or because we just don't want to get them because they're murderous. Very, very bad. So, they want to make sure to stay on step route as much as possible to dodge that. So the plan is the first 2 train cars is going to be fairly straightforward. They do have some extra steps. Because there's a particular encounter they're going to try and grind out at the end of car 2. Because if they waited to get that encounter in the next car, then they would it would be a much worse encounter. We want to dodge that. But after that point, they have to be step perfect. Otherwise, they are guaranteed an encounter they do not want on the world map after the Phantom Train. So I'll narrate as we go, and we'll see how they do with their step route and everything. One thing to note about the Phantom Train is from this point on, there are 2 Phoenix Downs that you are going to require. And if for some reason you have lost a character and needed to use one of those Phoenix Downs, the second ghost in this second train is a shop. So you can actually talk to it and get some, buy some more Phoenix Downs, and you literally have to pass the guy. So that's a good backup strat if need be. These are the still goings that we wanted to farm, because otherwise it would be a pack of 4 Whispers, who really like to use Demi, which is not nice for your HP, though it won't kill you, and takes a lot of time. So we ain't got time for Demi. Or that. So even though this encounter is a mandatory encounter, it's not an unrunnable encounter. So they may be telling us there's no escape, but they are liars. We escape no problem. So turns out there's a lot of ghosts on this Phantom Train, and even though we want off because we're not dead and are not looking to be dead anytime soon, these ghosts are like, nope, you're on the train, that's it. Only dead people are on this train, so obviously you must be dead, so no escape, guys. So here's the next of Sabin's awful ideas. Thankfully for everyone, we're pretty good. But his plan is, let's hope my training is paid off and I can carry 2 grown men who are in either wearing armor or in very good shape, or both. And let's jump some train cars. Thankfully for everyone, he had trained enough, so there was no real disaster, but really. He also said, hey guys, let's get on this train. It's totally dilapidated and definitely there could be survivors. Sabin, you can just yell at it. There's like no windows. If there's anyone inside, they're gonna come out. Anyways, bad decisions aside, yeah, you managed to get away from the ghosts, but do have to detach the train car because they are determined to follow you, and you don't like that at all. Sabin, like, I love Sabin. He is guaranteed one of my favorite characters, but I've never realized how many bad decisions he makes as when you watch this. Okay, this back attack for Takaze is really not nice, so one of the things we're manipulating with our step route is so that we only get packs of 1 bombs, because you just saw exactly the disaster that happened by 1 singular full party blaze from that bomb. And we are going to get more of those encounters. So definitely he made sure to cure up Sabin. So he will definitely have someone who's strong. So not going through these train cars, as it is faster to walk up and down those ladders. So I'm not sure if this is the last or second last bomb. Okay, good. Those bombs are terrifying. Like, just single pack bombs are terrifying. If you get the 3 packs, you're just like, oh my god, please. So flicking the switches, that does not change. Ooh, we have a dead shadow on Tina's side. not the worst thing. The big thing is you just don't want a full party wipe. Oh, Kasabian, he's the bomb. Beautiful. Now, just gonna choke for a minute there. We're gonna see what happens here on this train. Takaze did not even try to suplex the train. He is either too concerned for his time or saw the evil toot and decided to not risk it. So what the evil toot does is it gives everyone a random status ailment. And if Sabin gets imped, then he is guaranteed cannot do any sort of suplexes because imps cannot do a suplex. So, Takaze could also just be like, I cannot risk the seconds. So, unfortunately, his run is not valid, but he did save some time. So, we'll leave it. Come on, Tina, you got our back. But she has a dead Sabin, though. Nope, she's doing it anyways. She understands the memes. Awesome. Look at that. Look at that. So beautiful. Now, this train, not only can it be suplexed by one man who is just that good, it's an undead train. So one Phoenix down and it is done. So Tina may have lost a couple seconds, but her run is valid. Just want it noted. Valid run. Most runners know they won't be forgiven, but it all depends on your priorities. And yep, some runners are just like, nope, I would rather have the time. And I respect that. I absolutely respect that. I can guarantee you I think I've only not suplexed the train once, and that's because I had dead people. Or that far behind. These runners are really close. So, yeah. Takaze might be afraid of his lead. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what his history of suplexing the train is. Either way, they have both completed the Phantom Train and are progressing on. So, we're doing a cutscene here, of course, where Cyan is seeing his poor family leave. He did get to see them again, at least, but they are going on to the other side with the rest of Doma's people. And we have a mandatory wait time where there's an invisible timer, and we cannot progress until it is gone. So, as that timer still counts down while we're in the menu, we make sure to do some organization while we're here. The key things are equip the earrings and the True Knight on Sabin. Make sure your memory cursor is on potions in the items. Do some inventory management first if you need it. And then make sure your menu cursor is on equip. So once the timer's up, you will end. Now, what is the reason for those two relics? Well, I'm glad you asked. Do want to note first, we are taking all the equipment off of Cyan, just giving him his weapon. We'll explain why in a moment. So, some of Sabin's blitzes, such as Orbolt, are actually considered magic attacks, and the earrings boost your magic attacks. So, by equipping the earrings on Sabin, we do actually increase his damage output for Orbolt, which is fantastic for obvious reasons. The True Knight, you're going to see why why we have that. It is basically paladin protection. He will take attacks for anyone who is in critical HP. So, anyone familiar with this sequence knows that you fight piranhas for a while and then you fight Rizopas, the boss, right? Not in our run. So because we've taken everything off of Cyan, this makes him really easy to kill, which is exactly what we're trying to do, while also bringing our piranha count down to 1. Yes, so there are 2 glitches which are going to happen here. The first one is the Psycho Cyan glitch, where after he dies and is resurrected, his retort stops working quite correctly, and instead of countering any attack on him, we'll just counter any attack. So, first we resurrect him and do retort. First glitch. You saw the True Knight in use there. So, the second part of the glitch is we are going to use suplex on this piranha, which certain enemies have immunity to suplex. Piranha is one of them. But that attack, because it happened, triggers the Psycho Cyan glitch. And then what happens is, because between retort and the suplex, that's a physical attack and a magic attack happening right in a row on the same enemy. And so the game just does not even know what to do with that. It doesn't even know how to process it, so it just ends it. It's like, you know what? We're out. This battle's done. We're not going to the next step. we're done. So that's the second glitch. You just skip right out. 1 pack of piranhas, no Rizo Pass, no risk of death. Go! So it is time to get everyone's favorite wild boy, the one who our run is named or sorry, not our run, this particular marathon is named after, or is named for, because Gao, or wherefore art thou, Gao. No, it's wherefore art Gao. I'll get it right one of these days. It is not proper Old English or English of any sort, but you guys know what we're trying to say. So the reasoning for that, we cure up right away because we don't want Sign to die on the Veld here. But there is a 5 in 8 chance of Gao showing up in any eligible battle. So a back attack, a pincer attack, or a side attack are not considered eligible battles. You need to have a proper front attack, though it can be a preemptive, and you need to complete the battle, and it needs to be an eligible encounter pack, which most of the ones we get are, but there are a few exceptions, which if you're on step route, you won't see anyways. So this Lobo guard encounter is, you are going to get it, he is on step route, and because it's one of our early game encounters, you don't even need to do anything fancy for it. You just literally fight these guys. You don't try and run away because you are guaranteed not to get a Gao encounter, which is great, and it's just faster to kill them all, because again, they will die with 1 fight attack, and it's beautiful. So, this is, I believe, the last encounter here. We have A. I question the Tinahacks. I'm sensing a Tina fan. I approve. So, ideally, we do not want a Gao encounter before we get here. Oh, that's interesting. So, we want to come to Moblitz in order to pick up the dried meat, which we need to lure poor hungry Gao to our side. Takaze also pre-selling his black belt, which is the common drop from defeating the leader when Cyan fights him in Doma. That gives 2500 GP and is going to be useful later. So let's see. Oh, good luck for Takaze. He does get Gao show up. So, what happens here? You give him the dried meat. Wonderful. You do have, if you're on step route, 2 encounters that you will get before where you're going. So even if Gao doesn't show up right away, in the first encounter, as long as you get him by the second encounter, you are not losing any time. So, Tina also selling a bunch of items. Again, that will be more relevant at the end of Sabin's scenario, just since you're at a store anyways. Yeah, it is. If you accidentally cancel out and press B too many times on character names, it is faster to just name them A. So you don't have to move any cursor, you just go. So this Gao cutscene is actually 1.5 minutes long, but again, as mentioned earlier, you just press and hold A and chill. The key thing is that you get the encounter, which Tina also got first try, so nobody's saving any time that way. They both got it the same, so that is perfect. So we do, again, this cutscene is 1.5 minutes long, and they're both in it at the same time. So I would say they're less than a minute apart, which again is incredible. We're over an hour into the run and they're still right on each other's heels. The Serpent Trench is the next place they're going, which is another place which can have varied ATB depending on the encounter pack and encounter packs and things that can happen. It's really not very nice, and we'll see what happens. So things are definitely closer. Now guys, we have to honor our little dude here who showed up to explain how to use our leap and our rages. Everyone, get your kappas ready. And show me all of the kappas you got. I bet you got lots of them. I don't know about you, but I got some kappas here. Yeah, that's right. Show me your kappas. Because our boy kappa, working so hard. Or our girl kappa. Our dude kappa. Okay. Look. Oh, and we get a rainbow Yoshi or Koopa. I love it. Yeah, Neta Kappa. I should create one of those. Not yet, though, folks. Not yet. Wow. I'm seeing, every time I do this, I see new kappas. I love it. So, it is beautiful that this bomb is a preemptive, because bombs do not become any less dangerous at any point ever. They are terrifying. So, reminder, give our runners a follow. They are working really hard, and they're giving us an amazing race here. So, if you want to see more that they do, definitely give their streams a check out. Oh, Kappa take 2. So while Gal looks for shinies over here in the in Takaze's screen, we got more Kappas happening. Kappa. So quickly we find out that Gao's shiny is actually a helmet, which will allow us to go underwater, which is fabulous. Even though, let's not question how 2 grown men and 1 teenager can all fit in 1 helmet. It's not a question that anybody wants an answer to. And see how it all goes. So, even though Gao, he's a big tough dude, you know, lives in the wild for a while, apparently he really just does not love water. He just sees, and look, if you had to jump into this fast-moving trench, I wouldn't be very happy either, truly. Okay, so Serpent Trench time. So the Serpent Trench is in 2 halves. Yeah, there is a lot of nasty stuff which you can get in here. So let us see what happens. Didn't get it. Good. And then you want to run away from absolutely everything. Though, I will note, if for some reason Cyan does die here, we don't bring him back. Because you know how we keep talking about run gauges and how everyone has one and it's they each varied amount of time to fill up? Well, Cyan's is the longest, so he slows everyone down and keeps them from running away. Okay, so again, want to run away from all of these encounters, and we've reached the first half, so you want to go right the first time, which is the automatic direction, and then run through the cave. Now, the second one that we want to do is you need to make sure to go left. Now, that is not the automatic direction, so you either want to be holding it or paying attention. So, Takaze's got a dead Cyan. He's a happy person. He wants that happening. So, because again, theoretically, you run away faster, and, you know, I'm not sure if it's that he's old, or I like to think of it's because he's honorable. He is a samurai. Samurai don't run away. They're there to protect. So that's always been my kind of ideal on that. Okay, so far so good. Takaze is out of the trench, so that is good. That is something we definitely want. Yeah, Cyan is... I thought Cyan was older than 30 as well. But yes, I knew he is one of the older characters, considering most of the characters in this are teenagers. Oh, I hope 30s is not on death's door. So the items they're picking up here is they want at least 12 smoke bombs. And in order to save some time in Narshe and saving a chance of dodging a whole bunch of Mughals, you buy a second mithril pike here. So that definitely comes in great handy. Great use. So he is done Sabin's scenario, and what he has here is he actually has the smoke bombs, which is the reason we do this first. Now, traditionally, runners will go and do lock scenario second. There is no real difference. If you do happen to do terrace scenario first, lock will automatically appear in the second position. So that is a thing you want. Okay, so we equipped him with requisite items. The most important, though, is the sprint shoes. And by moving precisely, by leaving the screen and moving straight to where the guard is and having a slight delay, you can clip immediately past the guard there and skip the rest of the scenario. Essentially, we don't need any extra characters. There's no dress-up times. Though dress-up times are amazing. This is my favorite scenario when I'm playing casually, but we don't have time for it. Locke, we have things to do, and so we are just going to take a dive into the South Figaro Cave and try and get through it as fast as possible. Putting Locke specifically in the second position because there is a potential pincer attack that you can get here, where if Locke is in the first position, he can essentially get murdered. So because he will have his back to the gold bear in the fight, so by having him in the second position, he will be guaranteed to be facing them and have more defense. Who's the Celeste you're talking about? So, making sure to go and pick up that Thunder Rod, which I don't think it was there last time, but we certainly want to make sure we have it now. Okay, so Tina doing the same thing. She obviously got the clip the same time. So they are dodging through. She is right on Takaze's tail. They are not far at all. Might even, not quite high-fiving, but pretty close. So, Takaze getting to the end here, and suddenly someone is talking to you. They were called Kutan for a moment, but now they have no name and don't exist. So, Locke's hearing voices, has a ghost friend? Let's not question it. But what he does have is a Thunder Rod. And what the Thunder Rod does, other than just completely destroy this tunnel armor, is it not only does the second level attack of this spell, it's guaranteed max damage, and it bypasses the magic attack of whatever it's attacking. So that's just absolutely insanity. It's super powerful, so we don't need Ghosty anyways. Thanks for offering to help, but we got this. So now with Locke's scenario done, we are on to the last scenario, Terra's. The bad thing about this one, even though it is traditionally the shortest scenario, we once again have Ben in. Remember that murder thing we had to worry about before? Still a problem here. So, thankfully with smoke bombs, it is much less of a problem, but it is still something we have to keep an eye out for. Takaze making sure, so that mithril pike that we equipped, making sure to replace the mithril blade that Edgar previously had equipped with that newly purchased mithril pike, and now everyone that we will be taking with us is ready to come with us into battle to fight Kefka when we get there. However, we need to finish this scenario first. Tina also getting through her tunnel armor, so she also didn't need Ghost's help. They are too good for that. And away she goes onto the river. So Takaze made it through no problem and is now heading. So you know that secret door Locke mentioned to us and said you might want to remember this? Foreshadowing, guys. We needed it. So, I find the hardest part about this is just knowing where to walk and walking precisely. This part of Narshe has some of the same problems that you have when you are walking through Figaro, and that there's lots of stairs, they're all over the place. But unlike Figaro, you now have sprint shoes, so you're moving so fast. It's one of the times where fast is not always good. So, we have hit a snag in the plans. There is a security system which is blocking our way. But supposedly, so long as you follow the light, you'll be fine. But if you step off the path, you will have to tag a glimmering light or fight an enemy. Now, as you saw at Takaze, he was having none of that. He was off the path, tag glimmering light, easy peasy. So how that works is if you are holding A when you step off the path, the first input that the game recognizes is at the exact correct time to tag the glimmering light. So in no case ever should you ever have to fight the battle, and you are out of the path and right to the door. No weird walking path. So the first half of the path, there's no problem with taking that path. You have to go that way anyways. It's just as fast. So here, it's really the difference in what type of attack you have. We want to use smoke bombs for most encounters, but if you get a side attack or a preemptive, both of those attacks are generally going to just be faster to run away from than to use a smoke bomb. So you don't even have to bother with a smoke bomb. You just continue running and you will flee quite easily. So it is Tina's turn for the glimmering light. I wouldn't want to place bets against her. Look, got it. So I love that trick. I will never get caught by that glimmering light ever again, even if I casual. Like seriously, whole day guys, it's beautiful. So just about out of the cave for Takaze. He is out. So he is just about to the end of Terra's scenario, and he is at the beginning of the last set of cutscenes. So this is kind of the cutscene rush, where it's cutscene after cutscene, but once these cutscenes are done, we are to the final sequence of the game, which is our last multi-party battle and Kefka. So let's see what Tina's doing here while we mash through cutscenes on Takaze's side. So a lot of these enemies really are super simple. Terra was defeating them by herself before she was level 6, but it's still faster to run away. So it's not the danger, it's just the time. So Takaze is officially done Terra's scenario. It is just this. So yes, we are just talking about the run. The Kefka and Narshe run, which we are running right now, does end the instant that Kefka escapes. So the instant you hear the sound of him escaping, run is over. That is when you hit time. Okay, so it is about time for Tina to hit the cutscene rush. So the general summary of this is, Narshe, you need to help us. The Empire is bad. And Narshe being like, yeah, they're bad, but we're neutral. At least they'll leave us alone if we don't do anything. You know, Doma only got attacked because you guys were in league with the Returners. And then, you know, they're just trying to protect themselves. You can understand the fear, even though it's fairly irrational. And of course, Locke shows up with General Kutan and explains, actually, the Empire's on their way right now. It's too late to pretend you've got neutrality. They are coming for your town. You better defend yourselves or they're going to be bad. So, General Kutan. For those who've never seen this before, you're probably expecting another character. Don't worry about that character. We have the best Mughal general of the Empire. And the reason this happens is every time you do the beginning fight with the Mughals, you have Locke and you have Terra. Those characters are there. But all the rest of the character slots are filled with Mughals, so you can have them in your battle. And they're supposed to get overwritten every time you are introduced to and name a new character. You name the character, that data is put into that slot, and new character. You know, everything is good. But we skipped past recruiting the certain general in Locke's scenario, so there is still a Mughal there, because it has not been overwritten. Still keeps its Mughal name, still keeps its Mughal abilities, meaning you cannot touch its equipment, it's cannot gain any levels, so thankfully we're not going very far, because as much as we love General Kutan, she's kinda useless. Adorable, fuzziest tail and little poof ever, but really not very useful in combat. Even though supposedly she was born with the power of magic, or infused with it, but yeah, I'm not sure I believe it. So, unlike the Mughal fight, where we were given pre-generated parties to do, we are just going, we get to build our own party. So we're just going to make one super cool party and 2 with placeholders. So, it is the reason we pick the characters we do for the placeholder parties is simply because they're the ones who are closest to those spots, so you can just menu to them faster, meaning poor Locke gets to stand and, you know, be pretty. But we stack a party with Edgar, Sabin, Cyan, and Gao, as they are our most powerful characters by quite a bit. And looks like Takaze is just making sure everyone's equipped with what they need. Unlike the Walking in the Moogle fight, though, these fights have very key wait points and 2 waves of soldiers, so it is much easier in general to just get past all of them. Unless you are impatient with the 2 waves, or you're standing in the wrong spot, you should never have to fight any of the soldiers, except for this rider. He's a jerk, and moves back and forth, and totally gets in your way. So, Kefka! This is another potentially really scary fight. You want to kill Kefka using weight tricks before he gets his 3rd turn, otherwise he has the potential to use Ice 2. And if he uses a full party Ice 2, that is it. Game over. Unless you safety saved. So, you're doing a Dispatch with Cyan, or Bolt with Sabin. You're doing either Exocyte or Hornet with Gao. I prefer Hornet. And regular attack with your 2 Mithril Pikes with Edgar. And again, weight tricking at least once on Sabin's or Bolt, but if you can manage to do it multiple times, you're in a good state. Oh, incorrect blitz input. That is a dangerous place to be. Oh, no Ice 2. Oh, boy. Okay, so that's really bad. That is exactly what we were trying to dodge for Takaze, and I'm almost positive he did not save. Ooh, that is very ouch. But yes, it is that fight right there exactly why Kefka is kind of one of the most dangerous fights. I'm a big proponent all the time for safety saving, and if there's nowhere else in this game you should safety save, it is in front of Kefka. Because you can just be slightly off once, one incorrect blitz input away from total destruction. So let's see how Tina does. So far so good, but again, she does have Sabin in the back row. Not sure that's going to particularly help, because I'm pretty sure that doesn't protect against that. She's using the Exocyte Rage. So Takaze hasn't actually forfeit yet, though. So I don't believe he did. We're gonna see. He's probably debating what he's doing right now. So let's see what happens here with Tina. Okay, so Tina has completed. She has her official SRL time is 1:26:15, which is really fantastic for Tina. Really unfortunate for Takaze. That was the worst sort of luck. Okay, so let's give both of these runners a follow. They both did fabulous. That was a really rough situation to be in for the entire time, but again, a really key point as to why safety saving in Marathon, because it can be something that little that can really throw your run. So congratulations to both of our runners. They both did fabulous. And again, give Takaze a big cheer, because he did, he was really, really kind and a really good person allowing this race to happen again. So, but Tina was only just behind him the whole time. So, they both did really, really incredibly well. So congratulations to both. Now, we are done right now, so I am going to send you over. There's got to be somebody else who is going to be... Okay, look, I found someone else who is running Final Fantasy VI right now. So we are going to send you over to Mr. Couch23, who is also participating in this tournament. So before we do that, though, let us also give you the Kefka Narshe tournament info. So do feel free to check everything out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you guys all. Let's see when our next race is. We will see you guys all 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. LCC versus Yagamoth. You don't want to miss that if at all possible. Okay, night.